All right, so folks, out for a walk here, and I've been shooting a few videos, just whatever. But this is Fast Entrepreneur, Justin here to talk to you about the crypto world, some strategy, some possible games, and just throwing my thoughts out there. So it's up to you. You got to make your own choices, but I hope this helped. Not financial advice. Let's get into it. All right. So, last couple of videos, we're talking about, we're got another correction going on. And, I was talking to you about, potential gains and how to think about gains. You want to think about gains in percentages, right? In multiples. And the timing, specifically of when your entry points are, that's going to dictate your potential future. And there's always risk, as in anything. There's risk in the market. There's risk in the coins. There's risks. There's risk, right? But that's where potential rewards can also come from. So what I want to actually talk to you about a little bit in this video is I want to talk to you about yield farming and DeFi. And specifically, if you're not familiar, so DeFi stands for decentralized finance. It really took off, maybe 9 months ago. There's a decentralized exchange called UniSwap, which actually became one of the largest exchanges, rivaling that of Binance and Coinbase, right? But it's based on the Ethereum blockchain. And if you've ever done a transaction, the fees are getting outrageous. They're getting flying high, which means, it's cutting into gains, and it's making it almost impossible, to trade in and out. It's a different game. So you got to have a different strategy, when you're looking at high transaction fees. But now, when there's a problem, there comes solutions. So there comes the Binance Smart Chain, and it's relatively new. And I can tell you, if you've been using it, the fees they're very palatable. They're great, right? It's 50 cents, 25 cents, 80 cents. Sometimes you got to do a couple, but listen, compared to the, super high fees on Ethereum and the slow transaction fees, this is quick, easy, and cheap. So why do I bring this up? So DeFi is now, we're starting to see take hold on the Binance Smart Chain. And now you can kind of go in and out. You can, there's a lot more, there's just a lot more possibility, and it's pretty early. But there's also some risks, just like anything. So with DeFi, I really want to talk to you about staking and these liquidity pools, farming, etc. Because here's how this is working. So basically, folks, there's these platforms that are cropping up. And listen, some might be very good and some might turn out to be, rug pulls, scams. So, you want to take this into account. But there are, I believe, some good projects out there. And if you've been following on the Ethereum blockchain, look at like Yearn Finance, okay? Or, platforms like this, where you can basically go stake your coins. And what does that mean? So you take the coins and you can basically earn rewards just by holding them on this platform. You can add liquidity, which means that if you pair it with another coin, now you have an LP token, a liquidity pair token. You can earn rewards by staking. And if you look at some of these farming platforms, the gains are, I'll just give an example. Sometimes you're seeing, on some of the platforms, you're seeing maybe 20 to 30 to 40% APY. Sometimes you're seeing 400 to 500% APY. When's the last time, you went to your bank and they're giving you, anywhere close to those? But maybe your bank is way more, much more safe place to hold. But I do believe that there will be platforms that will stand the test of time here. And some you're actually seeing, crazy, like, 1,000%, 5,000%. But here's the deal, and this is what's important to know. Yeah, you can make gains. Sometimes they're short term. But if you're with these platforms, that really, they're new, anonymous, anything can go. And, so yeah, they can offer you a really, really high rate of return, but they'd be gone tomorrow, right? The platform would just, get up and leave. But occasionally, you can have some of these platforms that, like for example, 1inch. And I've shot a video, just a few weeks ago, because 1inch is, a main rival, I'd say, to UniSwap on the Ethereum blockchain for decentralized exchange. Now they're moving also onto the Binance Smart Chain. And I don't know if they're going to do an airdrop. Maybe they will, because maybe they want to entice people to, bring some liquidity to the platform on their Binance Smart Chain side. But, you can, when you're staking tokens like 1inch and BNB, for instance, BNB is the Binance native token. These platforms, at least, they've stood some time. I'm not saying they're going to be around forever, but I mean, these are some of the larger players, top 50 coins. Binance, BNB is number 3, I think, on CoinMarket. I mean, so we're talking, and even just today, I mean, as they're, I think they're just staking those two, on the 1inch platform on the Binance Smart Chain. Look at 1,000% APY. So in my mind, I mean, I would think that the risk is much lower, dealing with something like a 1inch, something that, I've interacted with, and, I feel like, they're really trying to make a push in this marketplace. Whereas, and they're not, it's not like their token, at least I don't, I wouldn't expect their token, to fluctuate at this point, and drop, 90%, 95% overnight. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it could. But if you just look at, there are other tokens that certainly, these new ones, that's pretty much expected, until they kind of find their way. But I say this because when you're looking at these, if you're in some of these pools, that have the really high APYs, I mean, you could take like Goose Finance, right? I mean, Goose, it's a relatively newer, platform on the Binance Smart Chain, but their token is still fluctuating. I mean, it's new, right? I mean, they've gone over 100, now they're, I don't know, down to $30 or something. I mean, and so if you're in those pools, you have to ride out the fluctuation in that token as well, right? So, I mean, if the egg token, say for Goose, drops significantly, well then, your rewards and your holdings, you're also going to have to, play into that. Whereas if you're, maybe with something like I was saying, with a 1inch and a BNB, maybe even with a market correction as we're seeing now, say down 30%, it's a little bit more, it's a lot less than, some of, the short-term rides. But listen, it's up to you. Do I think that there are opportunities and gains to be made simply by staking and adding liquidity? I do. And if you run the numbers, I mean, is it better to be in the market, or is it better to take a stab or diversify, put something into some of these? Listen, if you're making, say, 2% a day staking, and it's compounded, say each day, then, run the math. And, then you got to ask yourself, what's the rewards with it? So anyways, something to think about. What do you all think? Later.